What's up guys, welcome back to Mike Eat Yourself, and this week's video is going to be a quick review on the sound system we put on the 07 Road King Blue. Let's check it out. Alright guys, so if you watch this video, you know we threw in some saddlebag speakers using Cerwin Vega's saddlebag lid kit along with some 6x9s. From Cerwin Vega. These things are freaking monsters, by the way. They got some weight to them, that's for sure. And then on top of that, we added in, shoot, oh, I gotta unlock it, hold on. All right, so now that I got my stuff unlocked, you know, it's always good to prepare for a video before you actually make the video. Unless you're me, then you just kind of YOLO and wing it, right? Anyhow, that said, so we got the 6x9s. Now these are the 2 ohm 6x9s, and the reason for that is they can go louder, less resistance, louder, right? We've got our 2-channel amp there in the bottom, and then we have our DSP with Bluetooth dongle, which allows us to connect this setup to our phone, right? So I don't need to have a head unit, I don't need to have anything else other than my phone with me, which is really convenient. Now the one thing that is a challenge is right now I'm using this cell phone holder that is a magnet to the tank. It's very strong, but I gotta tell you, like, even though I've used it a couple of times, just because it's not like physically wrapped around something, it always feels a bit sketchy. So yeah, I don't know, I might not stick with that. I got to figure out something that'll fit onto the bars and looks decent. Not that that looks great, but yeah, anyhow, I just wanted it somewhere I can get to it where I could adjust the sound. So let's talk about how we wired it up real quick. All right, so the way we wired this up is essentially we've got 3 plugs coming out of this. It's all bundled up in one harness. And my only challenge in here is keeping this thing kind of attached to this. I tried hot gluing it with the Velcro strap, but that is failing. I don't know if just because this is too smooth or what the story is. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll drill some holes through it and just zip tie it. I don't know, man. But anyhow, so from that, just kind of peeking here in between the saddlebag and the frame of the bike, you can see I've got the gray marine grade waterproof connection for the 12-volt connector. I've got a waterproof connection for our ground, hot, and ACC wire for our DSP, and then the connector for our speakers going over to the other saddlebag. So essentially that's how we worked it up as far as those cables go. Pretty simple, not a big deal, doesn't really get in the way at all. If you want, you could adjust it. Like I just happen to have it on the top side. You can do it underneath so it's hidden better if you really wanted to. You can hide it on your side panel. The only downside to that is if you want to get to your connectors, you have to pop off the side panel, which is a little bit of pain if you're trying to hold your bag, right? So it's just kind of thinking through a little bit, however you want to hook yours up. So that's how we wired it up. And then as far as power goes, what we did is all Road King, well, maybe I'm blind, I don't know. I think all Road Kings have this aux switch here that goes to a connector that's hidden under your seat. So you use that and it provides 12 volts. And that works perfectly for our remote wire for the amp and for the DSP, because it doesn't pull a lot of current, so I don't have to worry about hurting the switch. It's just simply the remote wire. Easy, right? 16 gauge. You can't get better than that. Now, what is nice with this connector though, or the switch, is if I flip it on, you don't get anything. So this thing will only turn on if the main switch is on. Now you can go to accessory mode and that will allow you to turn it on. So you don't necessarily have to have your bike in the on position with all of your stuff powered on. You could just move it over to the accessory mode and that'll turn that thing on and it'll link up to your cell phone. So let's take a look at how it sounds. right, so here's my 2 cents on these. They are amazingly loud. They carry the bass far better than I thought they would. To be honest, I didn't have high expectations because, you know, the saddlebag enclosure is it's not made for speakers or whatever, right? It's made to hold crap. So I just kind of anticipated it just being loud, and that was kind of it. But it actually has a very good bass sound to it. Now, don't get me wrong, don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking about it holding its weight up against like a 12-inch woofer, or even an 8-inch maybe, right? Like it might give an 8-inch a little bit of comp, but probably not much. However, it sounds amazing. The DSP, I think, is really what makes all of the difference. I just, you know, me personally, I wish I would have learned about DSPs earlier in life while I was working on radio systems, because it has been a night and day experience for me personally. On the highway, you got to crank it up. Simple physics, right? The speakers are behind you, you're traveling forward, so you're in front of the sound and you're moving. You can overcompensate or overcome that by jacking up the volume of it, and it'll get loud, and you'll hear it even with the full face helmet on. The only downside to it is when you come to an off ramp or whatever, it doesn't have like the ability to adjust based on the ambient noise like some of the new cars do today. So you get to the end of the off ramp and your radio is just blaring loud. So of course everybody's like, what the hell is going on, right? Like, who's the deaf guy on the motorcycle kind of thing. So that is, I would say, if there is any downfall, that would be it. But it's no fault of the speaker itself. It's just the nature of having a sound system on a Road King. Now, in order to compensate for that, what you can do is they make speaker pods that attach to your crash bar, your engine crash bar. They make them in chrome. That is something I'm probably going to look at doing myself. Another way to help compensate for that kind of battle of the noise, we'll call it, is by using your windshield, because with your windshield blocking all of that wind noise that you're getting, it does help out significantly the sound of the speakers, so you don't have to play them as loud. But if you're not into rolling with your windshield, then of course you're going to have that battle. So anyhow, like I said, these Cerwin Vega, the lid kits went in very nicely. The speakers are amazing. They're very heavy. That magnet is huge on them. And I think going with the 2 ohm version is the smart way to go, just because of this particular setup. If you were doing this, say on a road glide or on a street glide, I would say you'd probably be fine getting away with the 4 ohms. But even still, I'd say I'd play favorites with the 2 ohm just because of that ability. I'd rather have that flexibility than not have it. So that's going to be a personal preference for you. As far as the model of DSP, the one with the the LED display on it, if you're doing this to your Road King, that's the way you're going to want to go. So that way you can make it the adjustments right there. You don't have to hook up a laptop or anything like that to set all your settings for that DSP. It is a little bit more legwork, but again, it's worth it having it there with you. And the amplifier has done an amazing job. I'm going to put the cards at the end of this video of those 2 videos, the installation and the essentially going over the DSP and the amplifier. So if you want those details, it'll be in those videos. But at the end of the day, amazing deal. I am going to put some projects now on hold. I had to get this knocked out because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I want to get my saddlebags color matched, but I wanted to cut them up before I went and painted them. So that way I didn't have to worry about any kind of potential paint challenges. So on to the next thing. Well, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope it's happy for you. And until my next video post, I hope to see you in the wind.